Hey, what's up? Back at you with another video. We are here to look at a video by King Said So, and a Pan-Africanist dude who is here talking about the EFF and the meeting in Orania. Apparently there were threats that the EFF would go and protest against the existence of Orania. It seems that the provocations are going up and up. It seems that the EFF is a formidable opponent with a brain who knows how to agitate, who knows how to respond with aggression at all times. And so now there's attention being brought towards Orania. There's intensification there of agitation and bringing of discomfort towards Orania. As Trump is busy saying what he's saying, the EFF is like, yo, we might as well take this time to just press on. So King Said So is talking about the EFF and the meeting that they had. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, last week I had an interview for you guys. The interview was with the EFF provincial chairperson, Shadrick Tlaule. We spoke to him and he was telling us about the march that the EFF is planning to have on the 22nd of April against the existence of that apartheid farm, Orania. He said, listen, we don't want that place to continue to exist in the democratic South Africa. He also said something in that interview. He said after he raised this matter in the provincial legislature, everybody was caught napping. Nobody challenged him when he raised the matter. But after that meeting there in the provincial legislature, he got a letter from Orania leadership and Freedom Front Plus requesting an audience with him to come and speak with the EFF, not to go and march against Orania. Those racist people wanted to explain to the EFF that it is not so bad what is happening there. They are in their own corner doing whatever they are doing. It should not bother anyone else in South Africa. In fact, you can learn a lot from Orania. That is how they get us, these people, asking us to sit down in a corner. Well, the EFF in the province sat down with these racists and they listened to them. And I want to talk about that. I really want to talk about that.
And I am for them meeting. I am all about that. In the Clement Manyatela interview where he had Vili Ocamp from the Democratic Alliance and an MP from the EFF, I said that it would be nice to see the AfriForum go to the offices of the EFF to speak, have dialogue, and report to us what the outcomes of their conversation around their song are. Rather than the AfriForum and all of these grifters making a meal out of this song in perpetuity, the AfriForum is actually safe to go there as an organization with their security. It's a good day for the media, It's something different, something other than the stagnation and the divide that we've been seeing. So I'm for these people talking. And so King Said So might be having an issue. Let's have a listen.
Meeting they had there. I need to call Shadrick and hear some juicy information about what happened, transpired in that meeting. Because we are now interested to find out, is the EFF going to continue with the march or will they soften up there in that meeting? Let's talk about that, Paseta, and much more.
He's asking the question where they softened up. So we are going into this with that as a priming of our minds. So he's about to paint us. That's what we do as content creators as we are talking to you and bringing you this content. I just want for our intellectualism to expand. I'm not trying to expose the brother or call him out for any kind of thing here. I'm just saying, I understand what you are doing. You are setting a theme for your content and you are aware of your audience and what they like and what they like to hear. So you are saying, look, let's listen. Is the EFF remaining hard or are they softening up? Are they becoming kinder? Because what? We need them to be extra hard and super firm for them to actually protest. We want for actual agitation. We want a fight. Is that so? Do the black people want a fight with the people in Orania? Let's be honest. Fight or not fight? Conversation or not a conversation? Or do we want to stand apart and be talking the whole time? Hey, the whites. Hey, here the kafirs.
Peace in Pan-Africanism to all my African brothers and sisters from all around the world. Welcome back to King's Show. I'm your host, Hshu Hotel, and we're back at it again with another one. This time around, we're talking about the EFF meeting with Orania leadership and Freedom Front Plus leadership, talking about the match that they are planning to have. Guys, we are now looking at 20 days going to the gala dinner of the 2nd of May. On the 2nd of May, we are having a fundraising gala dinner where we are inviting each and every one of you to come and dine with us and network with us and have an opportunity to hear the full presentation, exclusive presentation to the people that will be coming to the gala dinner. We thank each and every one of you who have supported us in this difficult journey, and you have shown that African unity is indeed possible. Go to www.paseta.co.za to purchase your ticket and come to Kimberley so that you can enjoy a weekend with us. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about this meeting that the EFF had with Freedom Front Plus and Orania. It's a very interesting thing. Let's try to go back a little bit for people who are living under a rock. Number one, Orania is stolen land. The Bakwena and the Tswana Baklapping people were pushed out of that land long time ago, in the 60s and the 70s. They were pushed out of that land. That is their land. They were pushed out, and then the government took that land. The government, or the apartheid regime, then later sold that land to the Orania, Mr. Boshoff. They sold that land to him and some few families, but they were represented by Mr. Boshoff. They bought that land in 1990 from the Department of Water Affairs. So already the existence of Orania is on stolen grounds. You stole the grounds, number one, and then you bought it illegally for 1.5 million from the department. Some people, they seem to ignore that. You can tell them that this land is stolen. They just want to see only the good in Orania. But that is how the system has programmed us as African people to see.
Ayo, so is the department, the government, the black government, complicit then in that sale? Should that land in the current time be occupied by its original occupants? But seeing as that is not going to be the case, let me ask a different question. When the government sold the land, if it had been bought by Patrice Motsepe, would he be in possession of stolen land, or would he now be rightful owner? Ke Motswana, Motsepe. I'm trying to link that. Let me hear.
You see nothing wrong with our master and see only the good. It's like a father who beats up his partner and his children, who gets drunk and who's got a temper problem, and then people want to say, but at least he provides food for them. That's how you sound to me, you African people who keep on defending what is happening in Orania. That's how you find. At least look at the good that is happening. Nangdina. It's nothing better. Orania last week, they had a husband shooting his wife and shooting himself. Guys, as a man, there's very few things that can lead to that. Men know what I'm talking about. There's very few things that can lead a man, that can drive a man past the cliff to take a firearm, fire on his wife and fire on himself in front of his 14-year-old daughter. This happens in Orania, the perfect Orania. And again, those two deaths will be recorded as farm matters that will go in the statistics of the police, and then it will be ballooned by AfriForum to America that farm matters are bad. In April already, there were 2 farm matters. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? So on that background, we understand that there was a selected families that did not want to hear the story of the ANC negotiating with the apartheid regime for a democratic transfer of power, meaning one man, one vote. They did not want to hear that. They told themselves, we will not be ruled by blacks. This is the Dutch people there in Orania. They stood there in Orania. About in 2019, Orania had about 2,500 people. That same 2019, when we had those stats, there were some teachers that were raping students in Orania. The perfect Orania. But people don't want to hear about that. Yeah, so what they rape there, Nazi, they rape, Nazi, we rape in the township and everything. Exactly, that's the point. Nobody is spared from crime in South Africa. So why should they be special and be treated, with sensitivity because they are Dutch? That's the thing that is happening. So I always want to remind people this, to say, in the history of South Africa, there hasn't been a political party or a leader that has stood up and said, we're going to march against Orania. The EFF is the first to do that.
Hey, some quick shameless self-promotion over here. If you love and enjoy this channel and you also happen to love dope gadgets, you can support my new baby, my new startup, my new retail venture, Gadget Plug. In case you've only ever known me as a YouTuber, you'll be glad to know that I'm also a wedding and documentary film producer, pro video editor, and all-round entrepreneur with a love for high-end gadgets like cinema cameras, gaming consoles, powerful GPUs, computers, and mobile phones. And my electronic store Gadget Plug is your new go-to place for the latest and greatest in tech. We're talking real gadgets, real quality, real quick, at the best prices in all of South Africa. To know more about this, head on over to my website imneo.co.za and check out my e-commerce store today. As we officially kick off business, Gadget Plug has stock right now of iPhone 16 Pro Max in 256 and 512 gig at 25,000 and 28,000 respectively. Simply press the green button at the bottom of my website if you want to inquire, and one of my friendly customer service agents will attend to you. Thank you very much for your support, and now back to the video.
Number one. Number two, Cedric Kaule is in his term as the provincial chairperson. So we give him the credit for doing this, for organizing this march, to say enough is enough. If you don't want to integrate with the culture of the people where you have came to, then you need to go back where you come from. And the problem is, even America does not want these people because they are forging their documentation to go for the refugee, to apply for the refugee pass there in America. They are faking. We know the refugee documents. They ask you, where do you stay? Which farm do you stay? How did crime affect you? All of those things. And they can't answer those things honestly, because when you answer those things honestly, no matter from which angle you are looking at the farm in South African crime statistic, a farm is the safest place you can be in terms of numbers, in terms of percentage. We know that. So this issue of the Afrikaner Dutch people thinking that they are special from the rest of South Africa, there had to be one leader that has to stand up against that, and that is Cedric Kaule. I want you to remember that name forever. Cedric Kaule is the first African man to stand up and say enough is enough. Him and his team, his provincial team, Deputy President Keke. Great individuals. I have met them personally, so I can vouch for them. It's a difficult ask. Now, when we know for a fact that AfriForum, the Dutch, everyone who's a colonizer fears the EFF. They fear the EFF. They don't want to mess with the EFF. They know things can get left quite quickly without any shadow of a doubt. Because EFF people are showing them, we are not going to teach you special. From the CIC down to all the provincial leaders. Now, seeing that is happening, they invited them to Hshu Hotel. Hshu Hotel is like a restaurant, guest house type of a setup where they invited the EFF. Who invited them? Freedom Front Plus and the leadership of Orania. They came and sat with them on a table. I actually wanted to tell Kaule to say, listen, don't even drink the water around these people. Don't trust these people. Don't. But I'm sure Kaule is a very wise man. He could see that from far. So they invited them. Why are they inviting them? They are trying to tell them, like, listen, you can march to the premier's office, but don't march to Orania, because you're going to start something that you can't finish. But they are not going to say it like I say. They're going to try and intimidate the EFF without saying it straight. They will use words like, there is no need to provoke the people of Orania, the peaceful people of Orania. The EFF, Orania respects the politics of the EFF, and we would love the EFF to respect our stance to want to be independent. They will play around with words. They will play around with words, trying to soften the leadership of the EFF. The EFF has posted the pictures that I'm showing you guys come from that meeting. They come from that meeting. So now the question is the EFF going to have a change of heart? Number one. Number two, according to history, if you listen to that clip of Chris Hani,
I want to be honest, I was annoyed. I was marooned in the Transkei when the decision was taken to suspend Amstrad. My indemnity had been withdrawn. I had spent more than 27 years in MK. I had spent the best part of my life in an armed struggle against this regime. I was angry and bitter that this decision was taken without comprehensive consultation. That was my immediate gut feeling. I didn't sleep when our delegation was locked with de Klerk negotiating. I was waiting for the outcome. When there was that press conference early in the morning announcing the suspension of military activities, felt like crying. I'm one of the people who have seen comrades dying, both inside the country and outside the country, in the struggle against the regime of terror in Pretoria. I know the names, I know the faces. I know how these young people put aside everything in life to concentrate in the fight against white domination.
May his soul rest in peace. We were celebrating 32 years since his passing away on the 10th of April. Chris Hani said he was not okay to hear that his comrades, Abu Mandela and them, were out there locked in a boardroom negotiating with the enemy. He was not happy. I myself also am not happy, even though I've got full confidence in this leadership, and specifically in Shadrack Tlhaule. I've got confidence in him, but I know how those people can soften him. What is it that they were talking about in that meeting? It was quite a lengthy meeting. What is it that they were talking about there? Because guys, I'm not like these other Africans, brothers who are interested to learn the good from Orania. I see no good in Orania. Nah.
And I think that is bad to view things totally like that. You are making yourself unnegotiable. You do recognize that if black people were to form such African spiritualists, let's say your neighbor dressed like you, and the other neighbor, and there was just a street of people who totally agree to African spiritualism, and the whole street are celebrating Kwanzaa, like how Americans would do. You would enjoy that very much. You would enjoy that very much, my brother. You would enjoy that very, 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 very much. Unity and being one body, one mind and one accord is a beautiful thing. You can admire it even among soldiers, people who go on dangerous missions, sometimes malicious missions themselves, to go and, invade people's territories, overthrow leaders, etc. If you've ever watched documentaries of the soldiers and the togetherness they have, I watched one of the special forces, the baddest. If you listen to those men and holding to a code, even if you listen to people who are completely evil, bruh, occultists, people who live by, a certain group of values, revering certain things, respecting certain things, eating a certain way. In fact, even in the Bible, the Lord is not calling for people to be racist and exclusionary and be separated on the basis of hatred, but it does call the Christians to be separated and to come out from among certain associations, certain places, certain people. Where certain people go, you do not go. When certain people pray and revere, you just stand up and eat what you eat. So Orania will remain. Orania is going to have some undefeatable support from the Western world. I am really telling you. You will know about red states and blue states. You'll know about conservative states. You'll know about places in America where people still fly the Confederate flag. So those white people in Orania there have an example, one that is just possible, and they are totally able to choose. They know from that example in the United States, from that big country, that there's so much space for certain people to just move to a conservative state, and those who are crazy to move to a liberal state where weed is being smoked, where fentanyl and drug dealing is rampant, where people want to have strip clubs. There's a whole entire state and a space for that. So these people are on a farm, and this opposition to them, I understand it, but I just have a question about how committed are you really actually to dismantling Orania? If you had the opportunity yourself, are you passionate enough to actually dedicate yourself to standing up and campaigning against it until Orania dies? Can you make petitions? Can you join marches if they're there? Because really, this life is temporary. We are passing on this earth. Politics is something that we entertain ourselves with. It's a sport. We love rivalry. We love to argue. And I've given up arguing with the people of Orania. But I enjoy looking at the tactical advances by the ANC and the EFF with the Orania Expropriation Bill. I can see that with the bill signed, the ANC already has one hand on Orania. They know now that they are living on potentially expropriatable land. Before the signing of the bill, that place there had the potential to become an independent state in a country that has no laws to deal with that kind of incursion. But I'm not a zealot against Orania. I don't hate everyone there. I don't wish for people there to rape one another and die and hurt each other. I hope they can demonstrate some peace. I believe that the world is still going to degenerate into a far more shit state than what we are witnessing today. The people of the future will see far worse things, and there are people who are already shielding themselves and separating themselves from a very vile world. I can understand in the last days how I'd want to seek shelter of that kind. My animosity for the Oranias has been because of being an EFF member, but now that I'm separated from that, now that I live my life, I am concerned with my business and, yes, catching up with these topics, seeing how the stakeholders are fighting and tussling. But in one way or the other, in advocacy for or against, I'm not there. I just want to see what happens when it does happen. You know, I'm neutral on Orania. If it continues, it continues. I just need to continue paying my rent. I can act very passionate about it here, but honestly, I'm telling you, I just want to get revenue money to pay my rent. So,
I see absolutely no good in Orania. Nothing. The core, the foundation of Orania is grounded on racism. That's it. On apartheid, on feeling that you are special. Just because you are in the minority. There are so many minority cultures in South Africa that are not being extinct. Some of them are not even acknowledged in the 12 languages that we have. There are so many in South Africa that are not even acknowledged in the Khoi, the Nama people. They are not even acknowledged in the 12, but you don't hear them cry that they are being extinct like the African people, because the Dutch are always special more than everyone else. When Shatrick said that meeting was coming, and I could hear that he's ready. He even said we don't even need to bring the national delegation to come and deal with those people. We will deal with them ourselves. In my mind, I'm like, hey, I don't know, is it doubt because of how history has panned out? When these negotiations come, our leaders go in there with a strong heart, come out with a soft heart. I don't know. It's because of
they go in there with a hard heart and they come out with a soft one. King said so wants hardness. Are we being honest?
History, my experience of history from studying, reading about this type of negotiations. Usually the African people come out the loser in these meetings. What were they saying in that meeting? Bebatin. You know, is it going to stop the EFF? Because the final match must go to Orania. The final match must go to Orania. We must by all means declare war against racism in our country. We can't continue to operate as usual, as normal, with people who think Bona they can stay alone. And you see them commenting rubbish. Why is it that there is a Zulu kingdom? Why is it that those people are not discriminating against other traditions? I've got family that is staying in KwaZulu-Natal in the Zulu land. I'm not from the Northern Cape. I stay in the Tswana land. Here in the Kgoshikgadi West land. The thing they don't understand about African culture is that we are welcoming by nature.
Is Orania discriminatory? Yes, they are. And have I watched a documentary where the black guy who visited, was it Wodemaya? Yes, I think it was Wodemaya who asked, are there racists in Orania? And the guy who was giving the tour said, yes, there definitely are racists in Orania. There are racists everywhere. So I understand that there's racial division, there's hatred for people there, and there's also this desire of theirs to preserve their culture. And they perceive the threat, current and future. King Said So says they believe that they are becoming extinct. No, they are not. In fact, there are others who are smaller in terms of their minority. So Orania doesn't have a case, therefore, because they claim extinction. I don't know, did they claim that? I am just won over by the understanding of their right to be separated. Class, money also achieves the same. There are people in Cape Town who do not have to see a black person because the prices there for the properties are so highly desired, so expensive that they squeeze out all black people. So much that really, even the richest black person would feel pain in their pocket buying a property in Cape Town where property is most expensive. So if you're fighting racism, you gotta fight classism the same, because money and access, there are territories where you just can't go because you just can't afford it. Monaco, the south of France, is exclusionary to the poor because it's very expensive. People go there in the daytime, enjoy the facilities, and then go over to France where it's cheaper to stay. So even the rich can't afford to live, stay, and buy some properties in the French Riviera. So I'm saying until the end of time, there will be the rich, there will be the poor. There will be these separations. And the world, if push comes to shove, if really Orania is forced by violence and protest, and they are made discomforted by threats, really it will trigger the rest of the world to say, is Orania really a non-negotiable? In South Africa, you presently do not have places that are predominantly white because of money. In the United States and red states, have you not seen that? How far behind are you to not accept that people can live with a division and a partition between them? You see, the property rights people are going to go incredibly crazy because of this march, and we'll be here for it. I'm glad we're covering it now, and I'm glad we're speaking about what is to come. We're speculating, we're wondering, both of us, and we will really see. This issue is going to be an issue. The EFF is being provocative here. They are responding to Trump, and we're just here to cover and get monetization money while informing the public and trying to get people to have sober, peaceful, calm minds wherever they can, really. Those who decide to be invested, those who are serious zealots, those who are seriously opposed to Orania should be at that march over there. Those who are not invested can just detach, take care of your children, love them, catch up with your family members whom you love, whom you miss. Don't be taken by extremism and the fights between political organizations and, the war of the world. Participate in it where you feel you can. I'm not saying pay no attention and be completely disconnected, but really check yourself. The state of your heart, the state of your mind, the state of your stress. These issues chow us. They spend us as we entertain them. So better be careful for your health. I don't think you'd want to oppose me if I say be careful of your health and your anger levels.
Don't understand Ubuntu. They just say those words, but they don't understand it. They can't comprehend it in their minds, in their racist mind. What were they saying to the EFF in that meeting? What the hell were they saying in that meeting? They were team. What is it that they were saying? I'm so interested. I'm gonna WhatsApp Shadrach. I'm gonna WhatsApp him. In fact, I would love to have a meeting with him before the march, like a short interview with him to hear how the organization of that march is going. Because he said they're gonna come out in numbers. They're gonna close the center of Kimberley and marching to the Premier's office. The Premier must be ready that day. Yeah, okay. That's all I wanted to say about that. I wonder what they were saying. I don't trust these people. I need God to save my mind, because I don't see myself sitting with those people negotiating anything like this. Nah. That's why I know we need leadership to guide us, because now I'm just, what am I going to say? King AfriForum is asking to sit down with you so they can debate this issue of land grabs and expropriate. I'm not interested to debate with AfriForum. I'm not interested to speak to anyone from Orania. They have shown us their colors already. What am I going to say to a member of Freedom Front Plus? What am I going to say? They are racist. Nothing is going to change them. They have not changed since 1994. They have not changed today. They are showing us that they don't want to integrate with the community. Tolerate or tolerate. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go and rest. I'm quite tired today, so let me go and rest. Had a long day. Until we meet again, don't forget to pray. But after you pray, stand up, African child. Do your best so God can do the rest. Peace and pain, Africanism.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll be seeing you in the next one. That's King Said So. Y'all head over and subscribe to him too.